Hey, Emily, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to answer this question for me. As a passionate fan for the Anaheim Ducks and all the trades, the offer sheets, and the draft, and the free agency that has gone on around your team, how do you feel about the Anaheim's Duck and the direction that they are going in? I would love to hear your perspective. Thanks again.
Hey Doug, so I think that Ducks fans emotionally and mentally are just kind of all over the place right now because a lot has gone on in the off season and during drafts and trades, and it's just been so much drama, so much high anxiety, lots of intense moments. And I think it's been especially hard because we ended last season just really skating on cloud nine. I know we didn't make it past the second round in the playoffs, but the fact that we had made it to the playoffs and played so strongly after we hadn't been in so long, that everybody was really feeling proud of the team that we had. We were excited about our players. The rebuild was showing a lot of promise. Were there issues and areas that we struggled in? Sure. But like overall, I think that as Ducks fans, we all felt really pulled in by our team. And the end of last season made us really excited for the upcoming season. And so, with everything that's transpired, it's been a really hard hit to navigate alongside all of the drama, all of the intense conversations that have been had. Everybody has a lot of like mixed feelings. There's pros, there's cons. There's some people that are ready for it. There's some people that just feel absolutely gutted. But I think that overall, we were just really excited for what the future held for us, and now we really feel like sitting ducks with no clue on how we're going to progress. So I think the first hit was losing, McTavish and Zellweger just immediately. That was a huge hit. They were really promising players, especially McAtee. We were all really excited to see him next season. So losing him right out the gate was a really hard thing to take. And then we just kind of kept moving forward in ways that just felt negative for a lot of us. We couldn't trust management. They were making a lot of moves that were questionable, and we just felt like we were out on thin ice with what they were going to decide to do with so many players that we loved. And the whole Leo Carlson situation happened, and that we know has just been an absolute mess. There was a lot of conversation about how he signed the sheet from the Flyers and how the Flyers were making a super salty move, like it was a huge power move. It wasn't just to obtain that player, but it was ultimately to really hit the Ducks somewhere where it hurts moving forward with their cap space moving outside of Leo and our other players. A lot of people were saying let him walk. A lot of people were saying they're obviously going to match it, which we now know that they did. But in the end, there was a lot of intense feelings of both just betrayal and frustration towards management and how could they let this happen. And it does seem like they slept on securing some of our heaviest players. We still now have a lot of players hanging in the balance that we're waiting to hear about. We have Cutter, who, how do you look him in the face now and tell him he's not worth as much as Leo? And he's doubling down on what his next contract is going to look like, because the whole Leo situation has kind of reset how all players are going to be paid at this point in the big contracts that are being signed behind some of these names. So they really, I think, kind of slipped on getting their hands on the players that really showed up last season, and they have been securing some younger prospects. They are bringing on some guys that there's people that are excited about, there's people that don't know how to feel about it yet, and it really feels like they're yet again rebranding with an entire new team after last season. And so many of us feel like our players proved themselves in such a way that really had us feeling positive going in to the 2026-2027 season, and now we just kind of feel like we're skating in circles. I think that another big issue is that we lost a lot of our defensemen. We just have a blue hole at this point, and I think one of our biggest faults last season was our defense. I think that Dostal is a really great goalie. I know that there's some people that feel like he's not up to par, but I personally am a big Dosty fan. I think that he shows great potential. I think that being so young and going into the playoffs and showing what he did in the playoffs was amazing, considering how fresh he is. And I think that if he had a really strong defense, I think he would shine even more. And now we've lost big defense hitters, and we haven't seemed to really bring on anybody new. So our defense seems to really be put on the back burner yet again. and has a lot of us worried in that regard, because if it's one area we needed to tighten up and strengthen, it was that. And that seems to be completely disregarded. I think that this part of off season is just stressful and a lot could happen. And it really goes to show that it's not really about what the fans want or what they like or even the players that much as what the management and the higher ups are going to do. This is a money making league. There's a lot of monetization here. There's a lot of power plays and business plays that are being made in areas that don't really have anything to do with just being a passionate fan of the game. And that's outside of anybody's control. And those are choices that we just kind of have to roll with. And sometimes it feels super unfair. And sometimes you lose the players that you love. I'm never going to forget the video of that little boy who's like 3 years old just sobbing because Maxi was his favorite player. But there's just nothing that we can really do about it. And I think that in the end, that you have to support your team and love your team for the passion that you have. You know, the Ducks carry a nostalgic joy for me. It was the first hockey game I had ever seen when I was around like between 10 and 12. My aunt took me. Watching Wild Wing rappel in was a core memory. I'm never going to forget that. And it is something that has sparked joy in me since I've reconnected with it. And I'm here no matter what. I love the Ducks. I love my team. I'm excited to see what next season is going to bring, but I am nervous. I'm nervous. I feel a little gutted in some areas. I feel like some choices have been made that suck, for lack of a better term, but there's just not a lot that we can do about it. All we can kind of do is trust the process and have faith in our team and have faith in the guys that are going to put it all on the ice for us when we watch next season. And I'm going to stay positive and hope for the best for sure, because I find a lot of joy in this, and that's what I'm going to hold on to, because clearly management is going to make choices whether we like it or not, and you got to be there for your team.